Have you ever had a client facing a crisis and you weren't sure how to manage it? Or maybe the team you were coaching blew up on an argument and you froze.
Women who just want to go to the store.
Wait a second. Wait a second.
Don't do any of the things. You're saying all Muslims.
Wait a second.
Stereotype.
The key to successful crisis management is knowing how to communicate. It's not what is being communicated, but how it's being communicated. Hi, and welcome to EverCoach, the leading online training platform for coaches who want to create an impact in the world. This is your host, Ajit Navlakha, and today we're talking about the 3 steps to manage a crisis and how to communicate effectively to navigate through it. Hold up. There is no reason you should be missing out on these amazing educational videos we do weekly. Subscribe to this channel by clicking on the red subscribe button below so we can notify you when we publish next week's video. We coach ourselves and our clients to be focused on our objectives while keeping a steady mind and emotional state. But from time to time, this ideal state trips on a stepping stone and creates a crisis. A crisis shows up as a stressful time in an individual's life when they experience a breakdown or disruption in their day-to-day activities. Usually, elements that are out of their control. Whether it's a heated discussion, a panic attack, an anxiety attack, or failed plans, you need to be ready to steer the conversation to a healthier place for your clients. Clearly, all situations are different and each will require different communication strategies. Nevertheless, the process to manage the crisis is the same and applies for all situations to help you dissolve the crisis as fast as possible. The first step you should take when managing a crisis is to assess the situation. Invest some time in accurately understanding what is happening. Identify the crisis and who are the people involved.
Please just tell me what's happening to me in plain English without the mumbo jumbo.
The degree of crisis can go anywhere from a mild discussion between different mindsets to more radical crisis of self-existence. For example, the so-called midlife crisis. Figure out what you know and what you don't know. What are the holes in the story? What are the implications and how it affects the individual and those around him or her? It's important that you involve and engage all relevant stakeholders, especially if the crisis transcends the person going through it. Understanding the different perspectives will help you navigate the situation smoother and faster. Just remember to hold your role as an external. Keep your communication objective yet empathetic. Keep your listeners at ease when addressing them about the situation to avoid the crisis from worsening or spreading. Once you know all the facts about the issue, set a content update to all stakeholders involved with the information you've gathered to set the record straight. We already know that any normal situation can turn into a crisis easily when the wrong information is passed, especially when it comes to group settings like organizations or families. Gossip can disrupt everything.
Who's been saying that there's another person inside of me, working me with controls?
I heard that from Andy.
I heard it from Aaron.
What?
I heard it from Michael. Michael.
The second step is to find a solution to the crisis. An important distinction we need to make in this step is the difference between responding and reacting. A reaction is an immediate response to a situation or event. It usually happens without much thought and tends to be tense and aggressive, provoking more reactions as a consequence and worsening the situation. The response, on the other hand, is a thought-out, non-threatening reaction to the situation. It's calm and usually happens after taking time to process the information first before deciding how to react to it. So, when we talk about how to communicate during a crisis, it's important you focus on the responses instead of the reactions. Coach your clients through their thought process to avoid deepening the situation and start looking at the solutions. Working with reactions will only end up in a big mess, lack of communication between all parties involved, and absolutely no resolution.
What's the matter with you, Tommy, hey? Hey? You're going fucking angry, ain't you?
Go fucking
You're fucking angry.
Also, keep in mind that the best solutions are not necessarily the simplest or fastest ones. So don't try to solve it in just one swing, because it most probably won't work. Crisis happens when there are deep shifts which require deeper transformations. The deeper the issue, the more likely there will be more confrontation because of different perspectives. Disintegrate the crisis of situation into smaller issues and coach your client through addressing each smaller issue one at a time until you start building stronger foundation that can cope with the crisis. Breaking it down will also make it easier for the groups involving several stakeholders to adjust to the needed changes at a slower pace and keeping the crisis under control. What's your best advice on effective communication when managing crisis? Share your go-to tips with us in comment section below. The third and most important step is to implement the solution and follow up. This step is all about your communication skills. It's ensuring the client can navigate the crisis without it exploding again on the way.
I didn't ask for deferment. I didn't want it.
What's wrong? Come on, knock it off. Come on, Sonny. Punk.
Communication skills you need include being open and accessible. Make sure your client feels safe approaching you if something is bothering them during the process. Be honest about the facts of the situation, what needs to change, and what created this problem in the first place. Thorough and frequent communication will make sure everyone is aligned and aware, and could reduce the risk of situation happening again in the future. You also need to be considerate, compassionate, and acknowledge other people's fear around the situation and how the consequences might affect their lives. Try some coaching techniques like the what if card with your clients and ask them what could improve in their lives after this crisis, or maybe what could go wrong. It'll help you guide them through the journey better and implement the solution more successfully. So many people believe the best mechanism to managing a crisis is avoiding it. And that's where they go wrong.
Let me tell you, they don't need any real big reason to kill someone either. No, sir. They get drunk. Oh, they're real big drinkers, all of them. You know that.
Avoiding a stressful situation can feel like the easiest way out, but it will actually backfire in the long run. It will only deepen the issue itself and make it harder to resolve later. Especially as the coach, your role is to ensure the people involved face the situation and resolve their crisis instead of covering it up with a band-aid, which is what they usually do. Coach them through the 3-step process we've discussed in this video. Remember that when crises arise, those who have taken the time to build a proper communication and crisis management skills beforehand are far more successful than those who decide to learn it on the fly. My wish for you is that you work on your communication skills to be an even better coach and be ready for any challenging situation you might have during your journey. Managing crisis is all about how we communicate and handle the information with all the stakeholders involved. Now you know the theory, it's time for you to turn it into action. Learn how Master Coach Alexei Panos uses effective communication techniques in a live coaching session. Would you recommend any other way to improve your communication when facing a crisis moment? Share your best advice below in the comment section so fellow coaches can learn about your experience. Also drop a comment with your suggestions on what topic we should cover next. We love being part of your journey. Hey there, you're still here. You're awesome. Take a second and give yourself a hand of applause for taking part of your time into your growth. Now, help us spread the love and drop a like on this video. Know any other people that love learning? Go ahead and share it with your friends and colleagues. Sharing is an expression of love. We release similar videos every week. You probably want to be notified, so go ahead and smash that subscribe button so you get a notification on YouTube every time we release a new video. Be kind, stay awesome, and have a beautiful day.